Wisconsin. They too set up individual franchises named after you. These were set up as a Sistiaqua V Trust, operated under your given name, styled in all caps like this. Large capital letters, every letter of your name, your middle name included. All these trusts were born on the land, but then removed to Puerto Rico, as if you were a snowbird who moved there for fun. They moved their birth certificates over to Puerto Rico like we were there too. This brought this public trust under the foreign territorial law of Puerto Rico. The monsters were thus enabled to send bills to Susan Marie Jeffords, or you or me, and to the Christian name, and then also to Susan Marie Jeffords, the all capitalized name, and poor old Sue back home kept paying them faithfully. So we started paying these bills, and we didn't realize it was a different person we were paying for that they created. Or she got thrown into court and harassed and fined and sentenced to jail time for failure to do so. They were also able to invoke administrative law by pretending that the victim was one of their franchise owners, or territorial law by pretending that the victim was living in Puerto Rico. In the courts, they're doing this without telling you, see. Just this past March, the United States Incorporated went insolvent, and right on time, Barack Hussein Obama announced that a whole new tribe of public franchises named after living Americans was to be created. This time they named Puerto Rican public transmitting utilities after you, resulting in names that are still styled in all caps, but only using middle initials like Susan M. Jeffords instead of filling the middle name in. This is what is known as non-specific name, because nobody knows what the M stands for, and therefore nobody can know for sure who is being addressed. Is it Susan Marie Jeffords? Susan Marilyn Jeffords? Susan Margaret Jeffords? Meanwhile, the innocent victim of all this corporate legal chicanery labors on, paying every bill that comes in the mail, and the vicious racketeers responsible for this keep churning out more laws for her to obey and racking up more and more debt against her credit and her assets. Now that you have all a bird's eye view of how this has been accomplished, and you are rightfully ready to take action in your own behalf, there are a number of things that you can do. First and foremost, you can share this information with all the people responsible for this circumstance. People that are in government, you can go warn them, you know, you're working in this maritime system, which is robbing all of us American citizens unlawfully under a fake constitution and under a fake citizenship in Puerto Rico. The members of Congress, the state legislators, the county, the borough, the parish, officials of the local city council, the assembly members, the members of the bar associations, the local and state and federal police, the FBI, the Department of Human Services and military, everyone who is at fault for letting this happen in the first place and for continuing to perpetuate it. This is not the government you are owed and which you paid for. No, that you know what happened, how it was done, and who is at fault is up to you. Now that you know what happened back in 1871, how it was 1868 to 1871, how it was done and who is at fault, it is up to you and your friends and neighbors, including every honest man or woman involved at any level, to present government to correct it. I have shared with people for a long time in government. I shared it with the Minnesota State Legislature. I've called Washington. I've talked to many individuals that work in government, and I've warned them about their fact that they are involved with the maritime law. So we need to warn people that they can judge themselves unworthy of eternal life by being involved with this lie too, because whosoever loveth and maketh a lie shall be condemned. Now that can condemn their children too, the children of police officers, the children of government service workers, people that are mayors and council board members and things like that of these counties that are based after citizenship in Puerto Rico. This is not the government you are owed and which you paid for. Now that you know what happened, how it was done, and who is at fault, it is up to you and your friends and neighbors, including every honest man or woman involved at any level of the present government, to correct it. Let's all note that once these circumstances is fully understood by enough Americans, nobody will want to be associated in any way with the criminality and ugliness of the past and its swindles. It will no longer be fashionable in the Beltway to refer to us as livestock. So second, your next task is to reorganize things for your benefit. Send the U.S. Secretary of State and the U.S. Secretary of Treasury a registered letter, autographed and thumbprinted by you, informing both of them that you are expatriating your birthright political status and require them to discharge any liens, mortgages, titles held under color of law. Color of law is not real law. Like citizenship in Puerto Rico is not real law. It's what they deceived us in. They did that themselves. Or other outstanding debts being held or accrued under your given name. Also ask them that to unblock your accounts, deliver an account statement, correct their records, and provide an appropriate and truthful international passport for your use. See, the passports we have now are from this fake government, so we need to have the real, truthful international passport for we the people of the Republic, for the United States of America, for your use. And that was ordered by the Republic when they re-inhabited in 2010. They gave order to the governors of the states. So this has been ordered. And, you know, if Mark Dayton is not going to acknowledge it, he's not acknowledging it. He's condemning himself in history, because he needs to acknowledge we the people want our government back, you know, our original government, and we've already made steps in that direction. So third, get busy reorganizing your local county government as an unincorporated body politic on the land. Your first step is to call public meetings, explain the problem, hold elections, fill the elections, not votings, elections. Fill the vacant public offices and begin enforcing the organic and public laws of this country again. At a minimum, you will want to elect a county land recorder. You can do this with the Republic, which is re-inhabited. Go to republicfortheunitedstates.org. Land recorder, public notaries, justices of the peace, judges at common law, court clerk, bailiff, coroner, and most important, the county sheriff on the land, not a maritime sheriff. Court clerk, county sheriff on the land. Once elected and properly installed in his rightful public office, the sheriff is enabled to deputize as many able-bodied men as needed to ensure enforcement. Just as you can't force the rats to immediately dissolve their incorporated states and counties, they can't deny or impede your right to exercise the jurisdiction of the land and public offices you are owed. The county sheriff's operating the land. Jurisdiction can now begin enforcement of the actual law, and county courts can inform the U.S. District Courts that American common law courts are up and running in the federal postal districts, and their services are no longer needed per Milligan ex parte. Fourth, now that you have declared your proper political status and have your country governments back up and running as unincorporated associations of free people, you are in position to gather the counties and sponsor state elections and fill the vacant state offices also. Fifth, you are now in a position to select trustworthy deputies, accountable fiduciary officers, not representatives, to represent your unincorporated states of America, like the state of Minnesota, the original Minnesota state. Because state shouldn't be before Minnesota state, which is supposed to deal only with the international affairs. The state is subservient to Minnesota, not the part of the federal government. Deal only with the international affairs related to the providing 19 enumerated services, and take care of long overdue business such as officially recognizing and enrolling the western states of the Union and settling their land assets in their possession. This hasn't been done because although they are owned the state compacts and are treated as states, no actual Congress having the power to enroll these new states has been seated since 1860. Their land assets have remained in limbo as public trust property controlled by the United States and federal states. They need to be restored to the Republic too, the western states. All this may seem overwhelming at first, but consider this. You are the heirs of the Republic. It has come down to you the same way you might inherit a house. It's yours now. You are the ones responsible for fixing it up, remodeling it, defining it, building it, and making it fit to live in again. You don't have to worry about violating archaic laws or agonize over what is past and gone. Spend your energy now on creating a new vision for an America that is at peace, prosperous, and free of British meddling at last. See this article and over 100 others on Anna's website here, www.annavonrights.com. Okay, you know, I might cut this program short. We got about 10 minutes left, and make it a half-hour program today. I got a person coming from the airport. The Bill of Rights, we can read the Bill of Rights, or we can get into the book, Re-inhabiting the Republic. We'll do a little of that. I'll go along with Anna von Reitz's paper there. I forget where we were the last time. We'll just start in some place here and we'll do a 10-minute walk through here. Irresponsible freedom does not consider the rights of others when invading another's environment or sphere. Without maturity and good character, irresponsible freedom becomes the breeding ground that will result in anarchy or tyranny. Liberty is having the chance to be able to make a choice, to accept responsibility along with the consequences that go with the result of the choice. A strong moral foundation is necessary to the principle of self-governance. Without honor, integrity, and basic respect for the rights and property of others, freedom will cease to exist. The principle absolute of self-governance is one of the most important principles upon which our country was founded. Without it, the other principles fail. Morality is the bridge between liberty and society. It is liberty's foundation, and no other principle was more commonly emphasized by the Founding Fathers. Founding Father John Adams, in his letter to Zebdiel Adams, June 21st, 1776, on reason, honor, and love of liberty. Here's what John Adams had to say in 1792. That's a picture of him. It's 1776. A picture of 1792. Statesmen, my dear sir, may plan and speculate for liberty, but it is religion, Christianity, and morality alone which can establish the principles upon which freedom can securely stand. This is President John Adams saying this. Statesmen, my dear sir, may plan and speculate for liberty, but it is religion, Christianity, and morality alone which can establish the principles upon which freedom can securely stand. The only foundation of a free constitution is pure virtue, and if this cannot be inspired in our people in a greater measure than they have it now, they may change their rulers and the forms of government, but they will not obtain a lasting liberty. They will only exchange tyrants for tyrannies. You cannot therefore be more pleasantly or usefully employed than in the way of your profession, pulling down the strongholds of Satan. This is not cant, but the real sentiment of my heart. The sentiment of John Adams' heart. The challenging individuals who carved a nation-state's existence in law form, many of whom were dissatisfied with the re-inhabited republics acknowledging Almighty God, would think justice would be served by turning their alleged damning evidence over to a different venue, the FBI and other corporate agencies. Yet when some of the Republic members were contacted by the three-letter corporate agencies, the agents advised that they were not having a problem with the American Republic. They were only investigating the splinter groups that were publishing law forms outside the Constitution, specifically illegal or unlawful trust or other activities that are not properly founded in law. For the example, independent nation states. Please give careful attention to this fact and hold it in mind. It will help in understanding the lawful standing of the re-inhabited American Republic government. We will also see continuing themes of this behavior in the American Republic story as we proceed forward. It was in the last quarter, 2011, when this writer and co-writer, along with a few other Wisconsin officers, met with the de facto Wisconsin Department of Justice special agent and de facto Department of Homeland Security agent at an arranged location in central Wisconsin. The meeting was prompted after the de jure Wisconsin Chief Justice had distributed Republic information flyers to police officers during a traffic stop, and explained in friendly discussion about the government actually being a corporation, and then how the American Republic had been recently re-inhabited. The two agents advised that the police had passed along the flyers to their department, and so they were following up by asking a few questions and learning more about the Republic. The meeting was cordial. The agents were professional and displayed a warm demeanor. They acknowledged concerns in the country such as unrepayable national debt, the insolvency of the realistic potential of collapse of the Federal Reserve banking system, which would result in the collapse of the federal government. One of the agents expressed concern about his pension being available in his near retirement. The dialogue culminated with inquiry related to the appearance of any individuals that may have a violent demeanor, along with a request that they be notified should we encounter any such individuals. We agreed, and likewise asked that they would be available should we have concerns. We exchanged business cards and information. After this visit, this writer would receive a follow-up phone call from the de facto Department of Homeland Security agent every couple of months or so into the next year. The conversations were cordial, professional, and with questions pretty much centered on our encountering any violent individuals. It was May 2012, when this writer co-writer, along with the de jure Wisconsin Chief Justice and also the de jure Wisconsin Senator, had another encounter with the de facto federal agents. The meeting was prompted by a Christian family member who was seeking to settle the truth with regard to the having been challenged to do their own, with regard to the government having been usurped and the re-inhabitation of the American Republic. With pure motives and having been challenged to do their own due diligence and research, the challenge was accepted and a call was made to involve the FBI for the answers. It was agreed that a personal meeting would be arranged to talk through the concerns and seek to establish the truth. Along with the FBI special agent was an agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Although the FBI agent had understood the term color of law that we had presented to the federal government that the federal government operates under, he was non-committal and acknowledging the truth of the government being a municipal corporation. The ATF agent was very obviously impacted by the healthy dialogue and our concern for our country and family. Much was shared in historical fact about the Founding Fathers and the founding documents. The agent expressed that in her 20-year career, tens of thousands of interviews that she had conducted, that she had never before encountered positive folks like us. She advised that her superiors only present negative sovereign citizens, material that they're instructed with, like a video on Jerry Kane and his son that were cop killers, provided to law enforcement agencies for free by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now see, there are individuals that want to go out and do murder, and God tells us not to do that. He says, pray for your enemies. That's the rules of the kingdom. So these people in Wisconsin had good rapport with the de facto government, the officers in it, there's the FBI, ATF, and others, you know. And we're almost off of the area, but this is the workings of the Republic in the past. This is history that's been going on, dialogue between Wisconsin and the de facto government and the de jure re-inhabited Republic for the United States of America. Now you can listen Monday through Thursday, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and Eastern Time, Pacific Time. You can figure that out by looking on the website republicfortheunitedstates.org. Go to the republicfortheunitedstates.org. I think we're going to have to close this program down. It'll be a half-hour program, and MTN will have to, hopefully they'll fit it in where they can. But YouTube, bless all of you out there, and I hope and pray that I see you in the New Jerusalem. And Shabbat Shalom, Jerusalem.